All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining me again. This is Let's Talk, and my guest today is none other. You might know her from Sugar Rush and Cupcake War. It's one of my favorite shows, Cupcake War, by the way, and as well as the founder for Sprinkles and Pizzana, Pizzana, and founder of Sprinkles and Pizzana. And this is Candace Nelson. Thank you, Candace, for joining me today.
Thank you. Hi, everybody.
Wow, what a crazy time we're going through right now. From all all the restaurants and food places are closed, and you're in the food sector, which is a huge impact on your business. I know everybody is suffering, but you guys, how are you handling through this process?
Well, first of all, let me just say it is really just such a devastating time for restaurants right now. My heart goes out to everyone who's been affected, who works in the restaurant industry, who owns a restaurant. There's just no other way to say it, but that it's really devastated our industry. Obviously, we've all had to close our dine-in, which is the right thing to do. And for us, we've really just sort of gone full force ahead in terms of our restaurant Pizzana, full force ahead on takeout and delivery, because we just want to be there on the other side of this thing. You know, I've had so many friends who've had to close their restaurants and shutter them forever, and it's so sad. But at the same time, you know, we want to do our duty in terms of helping those first responders out there. And so right when shelter in place started, Pizzana started a GoFundMe account so that we could, you know, we had already been delivering meals to hospitals around the LA area. And we wanted to continue to do that. So we've raised $43,000 to help feed first responders. And then just a couple weeks ago, one of our partners in Pizzana, Chris O'Donnell, and one of his friends added another $40,000 to that GoFundMe campaign. So we've raised over $80,000 to help feed first responders at all the hospitals around Los Angeles. And it's been so rewarding to do that. And, you know, people have just shown up everywhere and bought gift cards to help us get through to the other side as well. So it's just amazing to see all of this kindness, all of this generosity. Everybody just wants to make a difference. It doesn't matter how small it is. And it's really, it's you know, stuff like that that's getting me through during a very hard time.
And I'm sure, because in the very beginning of the pandemic, when we all heard that all business had to close down, yes, everybody got affected by it. But something special happens in the food industry, because you are producing something that we essentially need. We cannot live without. I can live without cutting my hair. I can live without getting Botox.
I got a hairdresser today, that's for
sure. We can live without a lot of things, but we cannot live without food. And that impact, decision that you had to make to continue to deliver that food to people is so great that we need to have as an essential. But on top of that, what you have to then decide to do is make sure the first responders are taken care of. And that, I know, it took some time and evolving throughout that period, the beginning period, because we were all in fear. Not everybody jumped in right away to help because we didn't know how. We truly didn't know how. I didn't know how to contribute as a fashion photographer, TV personality, to help during this time. And it took me about a week and a half to go through that self-reflection, going, what can I contribute? What can I bring awareness to where we're at today? And that's where Let's Talk started, that we have an initiative as well that we donate 500 masks every single day. A new guest comes onto the show, and the guest has been matching or quadrupling, and some have donated tremendously, like Mila Jovovich donated 30,000 masks to first responders. So through this time, we all get to learn what we're capable of, whether it's donating food to first responder, raising funds to help bring medical supplies to the ones in need, or just even picking up the phone and reach out to people and tell them that love, they're not alone. It's so important. I think this period, it's a time that we really learn what we need to nourish our soul.
I totally agree. And, you know, we all think of first responders as, you know, the nurses and the doctors on the front lines, but really first responders, I mean, that's sort of it's broader than that now. We are donating Pizzana meals through No Kid Hungry to the first responders at these public schools, people who typically
Wow.
would be feeding the kids, you know, during the school day are now basically, it's almost like a food bank. They're
Mm.
making meals for, you know, not just the children, but their entire families are showing up and lining up for meals that they typically would be counting on during, you know, an operational school day, and they don't have those meals anymore. So these, you know, these lunch people, these service people are working all day long, the craziest hours to feed the school system. So we are going to show up and surprise them with Pizzana meals just to keep them going. You know, they need the energy, they need the boost. So there's a lot of ways that we can all make a difference right now. And really, I encourage people to sort of broaden their idea of what first responders really are. I mean, it's the people who are delivering the packages. It's
Yes, and
so many
I'm
people, right?
so glad you said that, because I was just talking to Richard at the Project Angel Food, who they have volunteers delivering food to the elder, to the sick, and to the people who need. They are two first responders, and what they give is not just delivering food. It's just a wave of a hello, checking in on them through a window. Those are so valuable to them right now, and to all of us, because we all desire to connect. And the fact that I get to use this platform and connect with you is such an honor, because you're a phenomenon. You started, I mean, sprinkles, 30 stores around the world, and they keep popping up, and we know why, because they're amazing.
Well, thank you. Well, Sprinkles also is doing a cupcake, Sprinkles Cares, and for every strawberry Sprinkles Cares cupcake that you purchase, $1 is going to World Kitchen to help with their efforts. And the other thing that's been so interesting about Sprinkles, you know, when I created the cupcake ATM so long ago, I just thought of it as being a fun idea, right? And people love to go and take their picture in front of it, and sort of an Instagram moment. But what I wasn't really thinking about is it's the ultimate contactless food delivery system. So the ATMs have really been so popular during this time.
I travel around the world, and they're in airports, and they scream my name. The velvet.
You've been going to Vegas. You just added yourself.
I'm telling you, those cupcakes are incredibly dangerous, but they're delicious. The lemon one's my favorite. Favorite.
The lemon, straight lemon, or the lemon meringue? I like the lemon
meringue.
Yeah.
Lemon meringue. It's amazing. But what made you, Candace, now? So what sparked you to create sparkles? Like, no pun intended.
You know, it's a really interesting parallel to this time, because the idea for Sprinkles started with me in the wake of 9/11, you know, which, you know, is obviously so different than the time we're going through right now, but it's similar in the sense that we're all kind of collectively feeling this hurt as a country, right? And so there was this wave of emotion after 9/11, people wanting to do whatever they could to help, you know, and show up and I don't know, just help and spread joy. And so for me, I was feeling the same way. And I was like, I can't, you know, I'm not a doctor. I can't, you know, work in the CIA or the FBI. What can I do? I can spread a little bit of joy through baking. And so that was what inspired me to start Sprinkles Cupcakes. And so I want to say to everybody out there, I mean, there's so many, it really hurts my heart when I think about all the people who were about to embrace a dream, or about to start a company, or about to, like, you know, have a friend who booked a pilot. She was about to start filming a show, and then production shut down. It's like, you know, your dreams may be on ice, but they're not dead. And there's so much great that's going to come out of this time of hardship. And think about it, like Sprinkles was born during a time like this where people were really hurting, and it was a dark time. So I just really encourage people to kind of look at the light at the end of the tunnel and don't give up on those dreams. And there's so much good that can come out of a time like this.
And it happens in all industry, and happens in my industry, where I can share that a lot of people in my industry don't embrace the social media and the Instagram in the beginning, because that's a YouTuber's job, or that's an influencer's job. But through this pandemic, they have no other way but use this platform to reach out to people, whether it's on this particular platform, on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok. Everybody's dancing now and doing joy. But it's teaching people to have to utilize a new tool, whether that new tool may foster it into something new, after this pandemic, after this thing kind of take care of itself, and through time, I keep saying, I'll surpass. We all surpass. We don't know when. I know it's an unknown that is so hard. And I keep saying this to everyone on the show, is that stop asking what's going to happen next. Ask yourself what you can do now. And reason I say
great
that
advice. Great advice.
What got me through yesterday and what got me through today. And you know, during this time, because you're a TV personality as well, and people look at you and what you do, your responsibility to be inspirational is even more so important. Whether you want to carry that responsibility or not, what you do and what you post has more influence now than ever, because it's not about selling anything anymore. It's not about marketing the next pizza recipe or a cupcake event. It is about you as a core human being, what you are about. And that is something I had to learn. In the first week and a half of this journey of pandemic that we're all going through, I went through depression. I went through sadness of going, I can't create. I'm an artist. Yes, I can. I don't know what to do. How do I reach out to people?
My heart really goes out to those people who are performance artists, right?
Yes.
And like and the fine artists who have shows up in galleries and no one can go see them, or the athletes who want to go compete in the competition. It's like there is no Zoom equivalent for that stuff, really.
No, and we find ways of education online. You're right, we find ways of education online. We find ways to get food from delivery services, but you cannot find ways to connect when you need that physical one-on-one. So we try to find a bridge between that, right? We try to find a bridge of this moment that I get to meet with you. And I've been not only a fan, but admire your journey and learning through your journey. Because what this situation that we're in right now, it constantly reminds me that it is not about what's going to bring you down. It is not about what's going to be bad. It's more about what change is going to happen. It's going to change, and not be in fear of what the new normal is going to be. There's a reason we call it new normal, because it will be the new normal. September 11th happened. Stock market crashed. We all came out of that in a different way.
That's right.
Nile, West Nile disease, all of it, AIDS epidemic. We are resilient. That's one thing that we have to remember. We are resilient people, and we can be resilient, and we can fight through all of it. And through that, we learn and we embrace and we connect. That's the most important thing. You get me all worked up.
That's right. Well, you know what? I always like to say we Americans in particular, I'm only speaking for Americans, are super scrappy, and we're resilient, and we're innovative. And that's what I mean by like the greatest ideas, and some of the best things will come out of periods like this. So sometimes it's hard to see the forest for the trees, and there's so much hardship right now, but I do believe at the end of this, there's going to be some wonderful things that come out of it.
What makes you able to give? It's a funny question to ask, but giving in the place of a businesswoman, giving, because when we're operating normal businesses, when you're like, I'm going to give away this, the CFO is going, financially responsibility this quarter, you can't give that much. What is it that you're able to do that now? Because that is inspiring to me, to be able to set all the business aside and say, that's not important. This is important. What allow you to do that? What's in you that allow you to do that?
Well, it's humanity, right? I mean, we're all going through this, and we are all, I think, being really united by something that is touching us all. It doesn't matter your circumstance, right? And so listen, we're all just doing the best that we can. And fortunately for us, we did have a takeout and delivery business at Pizzana before the pandemic happened. And there are other restaurants that didn't, and that's really hard to just turn on a switch and start a to-go business, from nothing, from scratch. So fortunately, we had that already as a very important part of our business. So we were able to just like continue with the to-go and delivery, which is what we're counting on right now to sustain us as a business. And then with that, just how can we help? How can we help our community and just galvanize together to make a little bit of difference?
Unite. And what's amazing that what you're able to do, because you had an infrastructure set up for the delivery service, you're able to keep your staff working. And that's
right.
one of the biggest fear people have, right?
That's
Yeah, you're
right.
going to work from home, but all of a sudden you start hearing company laying people off because they don't need you anymore. That is it's so scary. But I know friends who are in publishing, all of a sudden they let 30 people go. And that's something I had to look at in my own design agency, my own advertising agency, and my crew. They ask, am I going to be back with you? I'm like, I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
In fact, when we started this Let's Talk, I called them and said, I think you're going to be busier than ever because I need all this support to do. Because, as you know, you do a lot of podcasts, a lot of organization involved and getting people energized. And most important, stay positive through this time. It is not easy. I don't ever want to say it's easy to get in front of this phone and talk to people every day. It takes a special place in your heart to be able to conjure that up every single day. And what allowed me to do that is a reflection of you on the other end to get that energy back. And that truly is the case. Everybody I interview, I thank them because I couldn't do this. I cannot do this by myself. I can't do a monologue. I'd be like,
well, connection is so important right now, right? And I think, people are connecting in very authentic ways. It's like, I'll be on Zoom calls for business and you see somebody's kid coming in or asking for a snack, or I'll be on a Zoom workout and people's dogs are, on the screen, and you see inside people's homes, and it's very revealing, and it's very, everybody's just peeling back the layers and being incredibly authentic and raw. And I think we're hungry for that.
Oh, absolutely.
It's all about that human connection. And hopefully we can
continue
keep some of that when we come out of this, and we don't just go back to, busy.
What a great point.
Face tuning everything on Instagram. So.
We don't get to do that now, but that's a great point. How do you see in the food industry, in your industry, what have you learned in doing this time that you can carry that message forward when the pandemic finally reaches a resolution period?
Well, I love, obviously as a restaurateur, my mission is to connect people around a table. And so for me, not having that dine-in experience is hard, because there's nothing I love more than a packed restaurant, people enjoying a bottle of wine, great music playing, and it may be a little while before I see that again. But what I do take heart in is that they're connecting at home with their families, whether they're cooking at home, which I'm trying to help people, via my Instagram, like with baking at home, or if they're doing takeout, whatever they're doing, they're gathering around a table at home and really having that special family time. So even though I can't really personally be a part of that connection, even though I love that, I know that it's happening, and I know that people are creating some really special memories as a result.
And I hope they don't stop. I truly hope that the family TikTok makes me so happy to see, because it's something, because the dad's never going to get up and dance, but because you have no choice now, you're locked in with the kids and they're doing it. It's those moments that make me go, wow, something is good is coming out of this. And we are seeing positivity in the food industry, and we're seeing in the fashion industry, they're making decisions for the future with more responsible, resourceful materials. Because we all know we're seeing dolphins swimming in canals right now.
Yeah.
We see the impact of us not putting so much impact on our environment, right?
That's right. We all have to be more thoughtful with our choices. And I think what we've all learned is that we can live with a lot less, right?
Yes.
People are trying to go to the store as infrequently as possible. People's buying, habits.
They're all baking.
Changed.
Everybody's baking. It's amazing.
Everybody's baking.
There's more sourdough starter yeast than I've ever seen.
I know, and it's hard to find flour. I mean, I've really been experimenting actually a lot with gluten-free baking, because the gluten-free flours are easier to find than the all-purpose.
Well, I as you know, I love to cook, and I have a show. I actually
yes,
cook, and I love
you're an
cooking.
incredible
and
cook.
I don't know how to bake, so I would love it one day.
We're gonna work on that.
We're gonna work on that together. I'll make some Chinese dishes for you. You teach me how to
I
bake
would love
something.
it. I would love it. I love Chinese food.
That would be so much fun, actually. And it's now we're putting a smile on our own faces talking about this, and that's exactly what I think that this is happening, that people are looking forward to happiness and joy and not taking them for granted, not taking the delivery person who's coming to deliver food to your house for granted. And you are tipping them and you are saying thank you in the way that you should. And that is so special. I know I order from a Thai food restaurant every single day when I don't cook. And now I go there and pick up. I make an effort to go there. I wear my mask, I go and pick up, and they're just like, with open joy, like, oh my God, you're here to pick up food. And I said, I'm making an effort so you don't have to put your person as a first responder to come to me. And they leave the food by their front door, they wave through the window. And it's so special to me. And I know when we go back to the new normal, I'm gonna go pick up the food because I know what it does for other people. And I think little things like that I treasure. Little things like that I'm learning. And it's incredible what you're able to do with this amazing success of your businesses and continue to give in so many different sectors. And I also know, and it's important to touch up on this, that you have a lot of influential friends who come out and support you. And with them, the message gets broader and louder so we can be aware of what we can do as individuals at home to contribute a little at a time, as much as we can, to make this place just a little bit kinder and a better place to go through, you know?
I agree. I think we're of the same mind in that the news is really scary and dark these days, and it can really send you down a spiral. And I really wish that they would focus on more of the kindness stories. I have a couple of Instagram accounts that I follow that are literally just good news, like,
can we do that?
Platforms for good news. And they're so sweet and they just lift me up. And I wish you could turn on the TV and see a little bit more of that.
We need that. Well, if they don't create that content, you and I are both content creators. Let's keep putting that message out there. We keep putting smile on people's faces, and we can't wait to have cupcakes and pizza. Next time we meet, there's going to be a cupcake and a pizza next to me, and we're going to talk about baking and making Chinese food.
We'll have a pizza party.
That would be a party. Well, thank you so much for giving back to the community. And thank you so much for being such an inspiration to so many people. And thank you for your criticism and joy you bring to the food channels and the Sugar Crush. I love them. I'll continue watching.
Well, thank you. Thank you for everything you're doing. And see you on the other side of this.